Greetings to each and everyone from Montreal in Canada. Very happy to share some of my personal experiences with the founder of the Brahma Kumaris. And what I'm proposing to do in the next few minutes is to share my experience and also maybe to share my insights on two words that I'm using at the moment, guiding a little bit my spiritual journey: intention and attention. So this is the menu for the next few minutes. You know, this is very interesting because I discovered the Brahma Kumaris and the teachings of Raj Yoga. I was fairly young, I was 21 years old. So let me tell you about what I call my spiritual birth. And I was a little bit, kind of extravagant when I was younger. Of course, raised and born in France and here in Canada. I was in Montreal and searching for, some purpose, meaning in my life. I had totally rejected religion and the concept of God, born in a Christian culture. I was raised as a Christian, as a Catholic, but for some reason I kind of drift away from religion. And when I found the meditation of Raj Yoga, I was fascinated with the knowledge, of course, and particularly the knowledge of the soul. And finally thinking that I found a deep reservoir of something infinite, and suddenly my life found a purpose. And I was practicing meditation, but there wasn't really much experiences. I was falling asleep most of the time, I think, and trying hard to be focusing on the soul and experiencing the point of light, but nothing was really happening. And after a few weeks, one morning I was in a class at the center. I was almost by myself, I think. The teacher was there and she was basically reading a class, and the two other students that were with me left for work. So I was left alone. And I wanted to leave as well because I felt it was getting extremely boring, honestly. But there was a feeling that the pressure was on me to just stay there. So at the end of the class, I was very polite and I stayed until the end. And at the end, she said, okay, let's meditate before you leave. And very honestly, I thought that might be my last meditation because I may never come back again. So I was sitting there with no expectations, just sitting quietly. But suddenly, I don't know, there's a kind of a strange experience that happened where the whole room became extremely light, extremely I thought I was hallucinating. So I was blinking my eyes, thinking, whoa, what's happening here? And the room became like bright, intense light. And the person conducting the meditation was sitting on a kind of big seat in front of me. And I started to see through her. And I thought, well, this is getting very strange. I could see through her, through the walls, through the windows, and everything was just becoming transparent and translucid light. And suddenly I felt a strange, I don't know, the best way I can describe it is with deep happiness. And I don't know what was happening. I just felt my heart was pumping intensively. And I knew, yes, I'm experiencing unusual level of happiness and love. That was clear, and that was the energy. And suddenly in this beautiful experience of light, I saw really the body of light of Brahma, the founder of the organization. I heard about other people having similar experiences, but I never expected something like this. And it was so real. I mean, I have very vivid dreams. I'm a big dreamer. It was not like a dream. It was not hallucination. I don't think so. It was just a very vibrant presence. And this body of light was, what we could call maybe like an angel. It's beautiful. And his face was so clear and it was kind of standing in front of me. And the only thought that came to mind at the time was, wow, this hasn't changed. As if I knew this place, but that I wasn't there for so many, I don't know, thousands of years, I don't know. But I felt like I recognized the space. And I had the thought, I remember clearly, wow, that hasn't changed, it's the same. And then I started to focus on that, being in front of me. And he was just smiling. There was just a figure of a friend, a father, I don't know, an angel, or I knew who he was, of course. I recognized the face. I didn't feel like conversing or establishing a dialogue. I was just scared of exploding. I thought my heart will not contain this. I felt that this is too much, my heart is going to explode. And I wanted to laugh. I know it's silly, but, and I knew if I start laughing, the whole thing will evaporate and I will lose the experience. I was trying to hold on to it, but at the same time, I was just ready to just burst into laughter and joy, tremendous joy. And so I just felt that the experience was amazing. But yes, the heart became big and big and big and big. And finally, I burst into laughter. I was alone in the room. This poor lady was watching me, probably thinking, what's happening with this one? And I started bursting into laughter. Like really, I laughed loud. And I felt like I was exploding in that kind of happiness and love. And there was nothing I could do. I was just so happy. And I remember that teacher told me, well, a new baby is born. And that's how she greeted me in this kind of experience of light. I know it might sound very strange and a little bit, it was a bit spooky, honestly, to me. Uh, I was, I was going to university, my head was all together, and I thought, what's happening to me? What's this experience? At the same time, I was still resisting my relationship with God at the time. I didn't want to connect to God. I was scared that, I was being brainwashed, or, in the West, when people see us with a picture of Brahma, they immediately think that we are following a guru. And we spend a lot of time in the beginning explaining to our family members, no, it's not a guru, it's not a sect, it's not a cult. I check it out and I know what I'm doing. There's never any, brainwash or request to give up everything. On the contrary, I knew I had to continue my study, live with, the family, and be very, very part of the world. So I knew, it was safe, but I was just beginning. I was just a few months, in my studies of Raj Yoga. And then I became so excited about just this idea that I may have found a connection to the divine, and I may have released a new level of energy in my life. So I was like a little bit too enthusiastic, I have to admit, and I became a little bit fanatical or overzealous. Good years, peace and love of the 60s just came back to me. And just to entertain you a little bit, I know you heard so much deep knowledge from other teachers, so let me entertain you a little bit. When I was so excited about this life, I went to India, of course, and I was amazed with what I discovered in India. And my relationship with Brahma was very interesting because I was intrigued, like it happened once, never happened again. But when I came back to Montreal after visiting India, I was so excited. I wanted to be like an Indian. I was wearing this kurta pajama very proudly all the time. And I remember in the summer going on my bicycle in downtown Montreal with long kurta pajama, spotless white, with my little Om Shanti badge, perfect Brahma Kumar on my, good stage on my bicycle. And of course the kurta, was flying and then it was in the 80s. And so another modern young person arrived on my side on his bicycle, and he was wearing this kind of new age or modern suits, very plastic, with this little helmet that looked like, I don't know, a mosquito or a kind of insect type of helmet, and very flashy colors, tight. And he was in his bicycle, high-speed bicycle. I was on my old bicycle, remembering God and feeling like, angelic mood. And he just passed by me and says, wow, what a dress. Cool, man. Where did you get it? And I mean, the reply I had was, my father is an angel and I want to become like him, like an angel. Do you want to know how to become an angel? Yes, man, this is very cool. Beauty of the 80s. And so I was so excited that I think he, what I said didn't make any sense, but he picked up the energy. And we really went along side by side on a bicycle for a long time. I went all the way up to his work. He was going to work, and I accompanied him until his workplace. And I gave him all, information about the soul and about light and about becoming pure and becoming an angel. I didn't know how to translate my experience better than in this kind of fantasy language, a very, a little bit, dreamy type of language. It took me years and years and years of meditation, study, contact with our seniors who, laugh at us and say, he's very, very excited. And yes, he's overzealous. So we become a little bit more mature, much more mature, realizing how to integrate the knowledge of Raj Yoga into our life. And it's a process, it's a long process. But all these years, of course, one of our reference is always the founder of the organization, Brahma. We call him affectionately Brahma Baba, the father Brahma. And to me, yeah, he was an older man. I was, early 20s, as I said. The age difference, the culture. I mean, he was born in the 1800s. This is like 2 centuries ago now. So it was like totally different culture, generation, language, everything was very, very different. But the attraction of the role model and what we were hearing about his life, in the beginning, I thought these old women, they are a little bit, making it up and they're exaggerating. And when they were telling us about Brahma being so amazing and he will look at you and then you will feel like you're flying like an angel, I thought, I don't know, maybe they were eating too much sweet at the time, And I thought, I think they're exaggerating how they relate to this old man, and most of them must have been very fascinated by him. And he was older, he was like a grandfather figure, a father figure. And yes, very charismatic, probably, and, incredible personality. And it's only really, honestly, after many, many years, maybe 20, 25 years, that my relationship with these women, which we call the daddies, my relationship with the daddies was so strong. And I started to witness their life closely. I mean, I spend time, in the morning meditating with them, going to their class, going for walks with them, having private meetings with them many, many, many times, watching them dealing with deep, difficult situations, handling, certain difficult issues. I was watching them for 20, 25 years. And then when people will ask me, how are these women? I started to say things that I realized, wow, I'm starting to speak like they speak about Brahma. And what I'm sharing about these women start to resemble what they shared about Brahma. So maybe they were not making it up. Maybe they were not exaggerating. And now I see in my life the effect over a long period of time of what this Raj Yoga has done to me. And this feeling initially, 37 years ago now, that my heart would explode because of not able to contain so much happiness. I still have those feelings. I still feel sometimes that the love that I'm getting, the happiness, the peace, the wisdom, the consciousness, I think, that we start to play with, still stimulates me like a young little boy, and I still feel sometimes extremely excited and extremely enthusiastic about getting closer and closer and closer to something which is incredible, which is unique. I know sometimes it's very, very tough. Sometimes there are obstacles and conflicts, or I'm still having a full-time work. So sometimes it's 40, 50 hours a week of very, very demanding work with my brain and responsibilities. I'm in the media field, so not at all a peaceful, spiritual work environment. But the words that I would use today to describe my connection at the moment with the founder, Brahma Baba, would be very much those two words that I'm focusing on. Just the intention and the attention. And I find that I'm really bringing all my spirituality into these two words. What really is my intention? And I've watched, I listened to the stories of Brahma. We hear his classes. It's not just hearsay, but everything he said was recorded, transcribed, translated, so we can hear what was really his thought process. And looking at his intention, how much he wanted to know the truth, to be connected to the truth, and to absorb the truth, and to transmit the truth. I'm talking truth, not about a concept, is God this or the other? Not that kind of truth, but the truth of the essential core of himself, the truth of this light that we can experience. Either we connect as a Christian or as a Muslim, as a Hindu, and when the connection with God is happening and we feel we're transcending our, body stage, that bodilessness that he described at the end of his life, that brings us to a light, which is truth, which is a real experience of the self. And he wanted that so badly, to connect to that truth and that light. So everything else becomes the product of this light. The values, the attitude, the kindness, the love, the respect, the unlimited aspect of our human existence. And so I felt that, questioning my intention, what is it? What do I really want? What is my intention? And the more and more I phrase my intention clearly for myself, the more I reveal that intention and the truth of that intention, the more I find it easy to pay attention. And I guess it's like going on I've never been to, I've been to some pilgrimages as a Christian actually, but I went to some tours in India with good friends. And when you have a guide taking you somewhere, it's so much better than going by yourself. Not always, but sometimes it's good. When you have a guide, he will tell you where to go, when to stop, when to rest, when to eat, what to be careful about. And you'll reach your destination because the guide knows where he's going. So my relationship with Brahma Baba at this time is exactly like that. I have to do my own journey. I have to walk. I have to reach my destination. But he's done it. He has done the journey. And he's just there to sometimes tell me, oops, careful, there's a slipper here, pay attention. Oops, go straight. Don't pay attention to this. This is illusion. This is going to take you away from your destination. He doesn't do the walk for me, but he helps me to move along on the journey and follow, in a sense, to take inspirations from. Because ultimately, my intention has to be shaped into my destination by my own actions, not their actions. They have done their actions for themselves. I have to do the actions for myself. And that nobody else can do it but myself. So to perform the actions as good as possible, then I need to pay attention. And I know that sometimes attention has become a form of tension in the sense that it was a little bit heavy to always, am I right? Am I not right? Am I thinking properly? Am I doing it the right way? That kind of attention is a bit heavy. But if I'm just paying attention, it's like when driving. I don't see accidents everywhere. I just drive, but I pay attention. If I see somebody about to cross the road, I just slow down and I let the person cross the road. I don't panic. I just pay attention. So in the same way, I find that this steps that he has given us, to be going beyond our physical image, our physical identity. That bodiless stage is, the foundation to withdraw again and again into my inner light, to go back. This beautiful song that we listen to sometimes, remember the days of your childhood. That's why I shared that story in the beginning. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. The inner wealth of the soul is endless, but we have to withdraw. That's the bodiless stage that we talk about. Yes, we want to eliminate all this negativity which causes so much sorrow. And for me, this is, yes, my intention is to be pure, to be free. The main word that attracted me to Raj Yoga was the word freedom. I wanted to be free. For me, Raja, the king, was equivalent to, if I can be a master, I'm free from my dependencies, my influences, my limitations. So that freedom from sorrow, from pain, from I don't know, karma, if you want, in a way, or karmic accounts, as we call them, that freedom was for me like, I want to be free. That's the intention. And that means to be viceless, to be free from all these negativities. And the ego-less part of it is really being careful for me about what I understood from Brahma Baba, is to go through the path, but not by increasing selfishness in doing so. And so whatever we do, although it is for our own freedom and our own benefit, it shouldn't be just for me alone. It should be for the benefit of a greater cause, the humanity. So let me not just do everything to be bodiless and viceless for myself, but let me do it in a way that goes beyond my selfish motives, and not to be attached to the result by signing the painting of my future. I'm painting in the guidance of the Supreme, so let me not sign and put my name on the piece. Let it be what it is. So the egoless part of it is, for me, the humility of recognizing that if I can do something great, it's not because I'm great, it's because I've been using a great energy to do it. So yes, some stories, hopefully a bit entertaining, of this angel on a bicycle in Montreal downtown. I reassure you, I don't go dressed like this anymore on my bicycle, and but I do still feel that my connection with Brahma is inspiring me to be light in all the different meanings of the word light, to be filled with love, to be filled with that light, and hopefully, yeah, to share it with everyone. Without Brahma Baba, of course, we wouldn't have the Brahma Kumaris, no doubt. It would be called something else. And so we all feel that that connection with the source, the way the source has been revealed through Brahma, is for me, yes, it's my personal choice. I had options on the journey, but I choose this one because for me it works. For me, I find that, yes, I relate to his life and the way he completed his life beautifully. I just wish I can do the same for my life. And I wish for all of you to really find a way, whatever way it is, to be light and to enjoy that light and feel your heart exploding with that greatness of the soul. Thank you so much for listening and giving me a chance to share my personal experience on the journey with Brahma Baba. Om Shanti, everyone. Goodbye.